You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Chrismo. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every single Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time. Make sure you're subscribed. Just go to tampaschoolofrealestate.com and put in your email pretty much anywhere on there, and you'll get email updates whenever it is that we have new information to share with you to help you grow your real estate business. Now, we are live today, so thank you for tuning in with us. Thank you for joining in with us, whether you're watching on tampaschoolofrealestate.com or Facebook or YouTube or wherever it might be that you're tuning in from. Thank you for joining in here today. Now, if you have any questions you want to ask publicly, we'll get the chat. Yep, here we go. We got the chat loaded up. Wait, is it the chat? Now, where's the chat? Okay, there's the chat. We got that chat loaded up right here. They changed things around. It's a new system update. Looks pretty cool, but chat's in a new place, but we've got it right here, easy to access. So any questions you want to ask publicly, put that in the chat, or if you have questions you want to ask confidentially to one of our advisors, call or even text this phone number, 813-333-2676, because ultimately this is a very complex process. We're going to simplify it down as much as possible today, but there's probably a lot of questions you may have, which again, feel free to drop those in the comments or reach out to us directly at 813-333-2676, or you can always find us online at tsre.us. You don't have to type in tampaschoolofrealestate.com. You can just type in tsre.us, or if you just Google TSRE, we come up. However you get here, however you're tuning in here today, welcome in and thank you for joining us. Now, what we're talking about specifically today is how to become a Florida real estate broker. Not just a realtor, not just a sales associate, but a broker. In the real estate industry, really the title that rules all. So you might be saying, well, what is a broker? Who is a broker? Let's start by the definition. And you learn this in your pre-licensing course. So anybody tuning in here today that's already got a real estate license, I mean, you probably have a pretty good understanding what a broker is. Even if you took your pre-licensing course and you don't even have your license yet, you learn a lot about the broker role here. But if this is new to you, welcome in. And this is a preview of some of the information you'll be learning in the course to get your real estate license. But the term broker, think of it not now as a person, because I'm actually a broker. I actually hold multiple broker licenses, so technically I would be a broker, but that's not our definition. I'm not the definition of a broker, merely an example. What a broker does, and this is what the term broker means, is to bring together. Who are we bringing together? Well, the broker has sellers that want to sell. They go to the broker to find the buyers who want to buy, because they also go to the broker. Now, it's not required to use a broker to buy and sell real estate. You could always go directly to the seller. That can definitely happen. But the problem is, you might not know where that seller is of that property it is that you're looking for. And so we're not here necessarily to debate the role and get down to the exact details of what brokers do, because it's different. Every broker's different. The specifics, that's what could really make you stand out and stand apart and really have a competitive advantage over your competition. But before we get to that point, 101, very simple, very easy. This is what a broker does. They bring together, and there's all kinds of brokers. There's yacht brokers and jet brokers, and you know, I'd love a car broker because I hate dealing directly with dealers. Most of the time you're buying a car directly at the dealership. That's not necessarily a broker. A lot of people like to think of real estate brokers as used car salespeople. And that couldn't be further than the truth. Because last time I checked, to sell a car, you don't need to get a license. You don't need to take a test. You don't need to have a high school diploma or its equivalent. There's no board of ethical standards that exist out there to ensure that fair practices are going on. So it's a completely different world. Yes, we're selling, but the big difference with the broker role is it's not like you're going to the car dealer, because let's say you go to the Ford dealer. The Ford is only going to sell you Fords, unless we're talking used, but let's focus on just new vehicles only right now. Ford will only sell Ford, Chevy will only sell Chevy, and so on and so forth. Whereas a broker has the ability not just to go to one seller, but multiple sellers. And we're not even talking about the MLS yet, because the MLS throws in a whole additional pool of additional sellers where there's already some sort of agreed upon compensation typically for most of those listings. And there might be multiple buyers. A good broker, even a good sales associate. So you start out your real estate career as a sales associate here in Florida. And what a sales associate is a sales associate is somebody who practices real estate under a broker. Now, for a lot of people, they're looking to get into real estate because they want to be their own boss. They want to have unlimited income potential while being able to make their own schedule and really be in control and be in charge. And so this whole idea, a lot of times, of having to be under a broker or registered with a broker can be a lot of times be a bit of a turnoff for people looking for the more entrepreneurial type of lifestyle, to have more of that role. And this is not a job. In most cases, probably 99.9% of sales associates that are registered with brokers are going to be 1099 independent contractors. If you've ever gotten a 1099 tax form before for income earned as a non-employee, because an employee, there's typically some sort of clock you got to punch in and punch out, or even if there isn't, there's a certain amount of hours or a certain quota of work it is that you're expected to meet, and so on and so forth. And some brokers do have additional standards, but for the most part, this is your own thing. And really, the broker is the platform, so that way when you want to get into selling real estate, you could borrow that broker's experience, that broker's knowledge, that broker's reputation. A good brokerage, at least one that's designed to be somebody that takes on sales associates, and there's all kinds of different brokers out there. And there are brokers that are just little mom and pop shops, or they don't have any training, they don't have anything. That would not be the type of broker I would recommend to join if you're looking to learn the ropes, unless you want to learn solely just by maybe shadowing somebody. But usually there's a big disconnect, because there's a lot of fundamentals that you learn brand new to real estate. We're going to dive deeper into those details in a few minutes on what courses and what specifics are, what that roadmap exactly looks like, going from I'm brand new to real estate, or I want to be a broker, where I am a broker. Getting to that point where you are a broker, what is the in-between? And maybe you're somewhere already. Maybe you already have a real estate license and you want to go to that next step. So we'll cover all the details in just a minute. But for everyone who's brand new to this altogether, just learning about what a broker is, just a few more details on this before we get to those exact steps. So in the real estate space, there's brokers, also sometimes known as brokerages, as a brokerage, like a company, a brokerage office, a brokerage company, a brokerage firm, and that brokerage firm is run by a broker, and not just usually one person, because if this is more than just a couple person operation, there's usually multiple people involved, staff, accounting, all kinds of things that go on to run the business. And so as a sales associate, yes, you are an independent contractor, this is your own business, but now you get to leverage the office space, which not always something that you need in this day and age. Almost everything you can pretty much do virtually. But if you need an office space to work, that could be a benefit of the broker you join. You need training on how to actually sell real estate. That we actually work with multiple brokerages that we offer training programs, additional training programs beyond what's required to get the license. From sales training to marketing training for sub-owner, open houses, so on and so forth. Reach out to us if you want to find out more about that, getting that individually or for your brokerage firm. But as a 1099 independent contractor, it's up to you. It's your business, and you can make of it what it is that you want out of it. And usually there's some sort of commission split agreement. What percentage of your commissions does your broker get to keep for what it is that that broker is providing? Now, a lot of people, they want the ultimate be your own boss, and they want to become the broker. You have to start out as a sales associate, and you have to be registered with that broker for 2 years. 2 years in the last 5. So if there's some sort of break or gap or whatever it is, 2 years in the last 5 years. And if you have out-of-state experience where you've been licensed as a real estate professional in another jurisdiction, you could submit that experience to the DBPR to qualify for that 2 years in the last 5 years. But if you're brand new to real estate, or maybe you do have a real estate license here in Florida, let's go back to how you start earning that if you're just getting started with a sales associate license. So number one, step one, you've got to get the sales associate license. And I'm going to put these two side by side because they're actually very similar processes. So number one, pre-licensing. That's the course to get your real estate license. It's a 63-hour course. To give you a visual reference, this is the textbook that goes along with that pre-licensing course. Step two, you got your fingerprints and application. Step three, you have your exams. Your course exam and then a state exam. These are both 100 questions, multiple choice. 70% for the course exam, 75% for the state exam, and it's going to be those exact same statistics required to get the broker license. So you do this, you get a sales associate license. And then with that sales associate license, to get a broker license, the only thing really that's going to be different other than the hours of the course, because it is a different course, a longer course for the broker license, but the only other step that is going to be different is having previous experience. To get started as a sales associate when you're first getting your real estate license, you don't need any experience. The only thing you need to have achieved other than having a U.S. Social Security number is also being 18 years old and having a high school diploma or its equivalent. If you could check those boxes, I've got a high school diploma or its equivalent, I'm at least 18 years old, and I've got a Social Security number. You don't have to be a citizen, you don't have to be a Florida resident, but you must possess a U.S. Social Security number, which you can get that. It is possible. If you don't have one, we can't help you with that, but get in contact with an immigration attorney and you'll be able to go through. We actually have a link directly to the Social Security Administration right on our website, but if that is a confusing process, because I get it, the government can be confusing. I totally understand that. That's where an immigration attorney can definitely help out with that. So it is possible, even if you're not a U.S. citizen, to get a Florida real estate license and go through this whole path, even to become a broker as well. But again, the key thing is you have to have 2 years of experience. Now you might be wondering, well, what do I have to do doing these 2 years of experience? How many hours do I have to put in? How many deals do I have to close? How much volume do I have to do? How many sales do I have to have? How many transactions have I have to have done? Do I have to have assisted others? Do I have to have trained others? Do I have to have any of these other requirements? And the answer is no. You don't even have to sell a single property as the law is written now. Now, because the law is an ever-changing thing, that's why I would highly encourage you to take action sooner rather than later before they add on additional requirements that could make it more difficult for you to attain that broker license. And so that's for people that are already here. So if you're tuned in today and you already hold a real estate license, a sales associate license, but you want to take it to that next step to get a broker license, You could even get enrolled in the course before you hit this 2-year mark, but just don't do it too early because you don't want to forget everything, and you can't get your application approved until you have at least 2 years of experience. So you could do it close to this, but don't do it too early for the actual course, because also that course certificate is only good for 2 years as well. So in theory, you could technically do it right away, right after you get your license, and then squeeze it out, but you'd forget everything anyway. So you don't want to do that. You go get your 2 years of experience. Now, let's say you're working full-time right now, and you're not sure you want to go start doing real estate yet. That's okay. Get your real estate license, achieve the sales associate license, and you could activate with a broker, and you don't have any requirement to do anything. As a matter of fact, if you are too busy, if you are, let's say, working full-time, you don't really have time to dedicate to getting your real estate career jump-started and off the ground, you could activate with a referral brokerage. There's a common term a lot of, in the industry, a lot of agents use called parking my license. And parking your license, that typically means that you've registered with a referral firm. And why it's called parking it is because let's say the motor is still running, but you're not going anywhere. But you could go somewhere if you wanted to. You still got the motor, you're still in the car. But by parking your license at a referral brokerage, you simply refer any deals to another agent anywhere in the world. Not even just here in Florida, but literally anywhere in the world, you refer the business and you can negotiate a referral fee. It's very typical, maybe a 25% referral fee. I've signed referral fees as high as 50% personally myself before. So there's a wide range. You could go even lower, 5, 10%, depending on the quality of the referral, the quality of the relationship, the quality of your negotiation skills. That could all get a higher. But you might be wondering, well, what about the 50% deal? How did you end up with a 50% referral fee? Well, it's because the deal was pretty much teed up, ready to go, and the agent just didn't have time to serve that client, but they needed to get served, and so they referred it to another agent for 50%. Very simple. One-page document, very easy to do. And referrals can be very lucrative because, again, it doesn't require the work on your part. And it also, when you're starting out and you're brand new and you don't know much about real estate, it takes away that risk of your newness. You know, maybe you have somebody that doesn't trust you to do a deal with them yet. And hey, that's okay. Hey, I know I'm new. Let me just refer you to a more experienced agent. And now you're still getting a piece of the commission. They're happier. They have that more experienced agent, whatever it is you got to do. Maybe somebody comes to you about a commercial deal and you don't know anything about commercial, and you know they'd be better served with somebody who has access to the commercial tools, the LoopNets, the CoStar, all that good stuff that's on the commercial side. If you're not practicing commercial real estate, you probably don't pay subscriptions for those tools and softwares and databases and all that stuff. Most real estate agents will specialize in a specific category. Most of them specialize in residential because everybody needs a place to live. But the point being here is, even if you're just at a referral brokerage, even if you don't even do any referrals, as long as your license was in an active status for at least 2 years in the last 5 years, as the law stands for the Florida Real Estate Commission right now, that's all they look for. 2 years of being active. They don't care how much you sold. They don't care if you sold anything. They just care that you were active for 2 years. You might wonder, what does that mean? What does that do? Well, it shows that you're sticking around enough to complete your continuing educations and your post-licensings and doing what you got to do to get the license in the first place. And they have in the past, but they don't require any sales or transaction history. And if you're worried about them changing that and that potentially making it more difficult for you to achieve that status of broker, do it now. Don't wait. Or do it as soon as you get to that 2-year mark. If you're just getting started here, we have a lot of agents that go through this in this process where they'll go get the license, they'll activate pretty much immediately, so that way they can start earning their time. And as soon as they get close to 2 years, they get enrolled in a broker course. So we'll put broker pre-licensing. And so the reason why this is called a pre-licensing course, both of these courses are actually very similar. This 63-hour pre-licensing course and the 72-hour pre-licensing course. Yet another reason to do this close together, because there's so much similar content. What happens in the broker pre-licensing course, and there's a syllabus directly from the Florida Real Estate Commission that dictates what's on these courses. Now, I will tell you, the broker course, as well as the exam, is more difficult than the sales associate course. There's a little bit deeper math, but the key word is deeper. There's only a few new concepts, new topics that aren't taught in pre-licensing that are in your broker pre-licensing. So there are a few brand new things that something like some of the income tax stuff, some of the property management stuff, investment analysis. That's some of the stuff that's unique to broker pre-licensing. But outside of those topics, it's mostly a deeper dive into the same information you learned in the 63-hour course. So for those of you who are coming from out of state, who already have their experience, their 2 years of experience from out of state, that's where I'd highly recommend you get yourself some of the sales associate pre-licensing, the 63-hour materials. A lot of the broker candidates that are coming from out of state, they'll also buy the textbook. So this textbook right here, just because there's more detail, there's more basic introduction that's in here that you're basically already assumed to have that knowledge in the broker course. So if you're coming from another state, even though you might be able to bypass the sales associate level, again, if you already have 2 years of experience, you might still want to get this for the exam just for some of the concepts that may be different from the state it is that you're coming from, because there's quite a few things in Florida that are pretty unique to Florida. And you'll learn more about those you'll learn about it in the broker pre-licensing, but there's going to be, again, more of a basic explanation in the sales associate. Whereas this is going to be the more advanced. If this is the 101, this is the 201. This is your basic introductory explanations, a lot of very simple things in there. It's a lot of information, and that's what also can cause people some stress going through this process, but that's where our Pass First Try exam prep tools are what I'd recommend really for either side of these, because again, the information that's the key components of the laws and rules in Florida, that's going to be on both these exams, and that's really the main focus of most of the exam prep material there. And there is one thing that's in between. So we've got to talk about this, and this is your post-licensing course. Now, if you did not get a sales associate license, you're going straight into being a broker, this wouldn't apply. But for anybody who has a sales associate license, you cannot proceed to this process without completion of your post-licensing. And so the 45-hour post-licensing course, this is something that's actually going to be very helpful and beneficial for you when you first get your license. Don't wait to take this. You ultimately have about 18 months to do it, but you want to do it as soon as possible, and not just so you don't run out of time, but because the information you learn in here is going to be much more real world, much more business oriented, much more applicable, much more about growing and running a real estate business, whereas the pre-licensing for both sales associate and broker is a much bigger emphasis on the laws and rules and the key things that they need to test you on to make sure that you know enough about real estate to trust the public with you. Whereas this is more, okay, great, you got the license, now let's make some money with it. Let's lay out a business plan. Let's talk about how you're going to attract clients. Let's talk about how you're going to present offers. Let's talk about pricing properties to sell versus in your pre-licensing, you learn the basics of appraising, whereas here you're learning pricing properties to sell. So a lot of really great information. You get this whole bundle to get your license on either of these categories called our Complete Jumpstart, and that's going to include your pre-licensing, the exam prep tools, as well as the post-licensing courses for the first renewal. And it's only the first renewal that's a more in-depth course. After that first renewal, it's only a 30-question open book exam. Super easy to complete. It's like a $40 requirement every 2 years, but that's after your first renewal. And you never necessarily have to make the jump to broker. There's a lot of people who do very, very well just as a sales associate. You could even run your own real estate team as a sales associate. There's sales associates that I know that are bringing in over $1 million a year in gross commission as a sales associate. Not as a broker, but as a sales associate, just doing the real estate sales. Now, do you have the potential to be able to make more money as a broker? Absolutely, because now it's not just your sales, and even in a team type of environment, there's some sort of overhead that's provided, managed, and supplied by the brokerage, even if you're a super mega team. But again, you might find yourself super successful here and not want to make that switch, not want to make that jump. But for most real estate agents, there's at least that desire to do this. Maybe they don't ever do it, but they at least want it. And you could stay with your current broker. So even when you go attain the broker license, so let's knock out these steps real quick. So 2 years of experience. If you already had the sales associate license, you're getting your post-licensing done because your license technically will go null and void if you don't have this done. So you got to have it done by time you get your 2 years worth of experience. And even if you already had out-of-state experience, it's a loophole you get stuck in where you got to do it anyways if you have the sales associate license. But anyways, once you get to this point of getting a broker license, you take your broker pre-licensing, 72 hours. Again, there's going to be fingerprinting and application. And you might say, well, I was already fingerprinted for my sales associate license. And I would say, yes, you were, and you will be again, because they make you do it a second time. So you got to get fingerprinted and do your application again. And then again, there is exams. And just like the sales associate exam, same exact format, 100 questions, multiple choice, 70% for the course exam, 75% for the state exam. And you get 3 hours for your course exams, 3.5 hours for your state exams. Same thing for a sales associate or broker. So again, the processes are very mirrored with each other. And once you get your broker license, as I started mentioning, you could stay with your current broker as a broker associate. So you don't have to go out. It's not like you get kicked out because you got a broker license. All right, well, you're out of the firm now. You got your own broker license. You're on your own. No, you could stay registered with your current broker as a broker associate. Now, this is really a title-only thing because there's no additional anything that grants you from the state of Florida from that license being a broker associate versus a sales associate. But what it does grant you is the ability at any moment to file one application with the DBPR to start your own brokerage. That's the difference of having a broker license as a broker associate versus just being a sales associate. In terms of what you can do, it's basically the same. Now, your clout, the respect it is that you'll have because you have that title broker. Even if you're a broker associate, broker is a much more powerful title than a sales associate. A sales associate, there's sales associates at Target. So yes, that's a sales associate with a real estate license is going to make a lot more than any sales associate at Target ever will, probably in their whole lifetime. You could probably beat that in one year's worth of commission as a sales associate if you're really doing it right. Because like I said, you could bring in, there's agents out there as a sales associate bringing in over $1 million in gross commission. And yes, there are expenses to running your business, to attracting those leads, to closing those deals, to taking care of your business. But that's a lot of money on the table to leave a lot of money left over for you to walk away with at the end of the day. And also, if you like to watch any of those tax advantage types of videos on like TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is, where it's like, oh, here's a tax tip, here's how you write this off, here's how you do this, you could do that either as a sales associate or a broker. Because even as a sales associate, like I said, you're a 1099 independent contractor. You could be an LLC. You could be a professional corporation. You could also be a professional limited liability company. So you have these options to incorporate yourself as a sales associate. It has to be in your name. You'll learn more about that in your pre-licensing course about how to name this correctly. That's actually one of the topics that could be on your exam is how are you allowed to register as a corporation as a sales associate? Because it is possible. So you could take advantage of the tax deductible vacations. And I'm not here to give you any sort of tax advice and whatnot, but get yourself a good accountant, watch some of those videos, go read some books on it. There's a book, Garrett Sutton. I don't know the title of his books, but he's got a lot of really great books on tax advice and whatnot for entrepreneurs and small business people, which is the ranks it is you'll be joining if you're not in that already by getting a real estate license. Even if you have your day job, you could still have your day job and have a part-time side hustle real estate gig. That's what you're able to do. And you could even do that as a broker because there's nothing in the law that's going to stop you from doing that. And like I said, you might say, well, how do I have time to do it? Well, don't have time to do it. Just refer the business out to somebody who does have time and then keep 20, 30, 40, 50% of the deal and give the rest of it to the person who has the time to do the deal. We've had a lot of fairly high-profile people celebrities, I would even call them, come through our doors to get a real estate license, not because they want to sell real estate themselves, but because they want to refer out their connections, because they're well connected. They are connected to wealthy individuals, and someone's buying a $10 million property. If there's a 3% commission on that, even just 25% of that 3% of that $10 million comes out to be a pretty big chunk of change. But in order to do that legally, you have to have some sort of real estate license, an active real estate license, meaning you're either a sales associate who's registered with a broker, or you're a broker yourself because you've gone on and gotten the 2 years of experience, you took the broker course. And then one final thing is there's 60 hours of broker post licensing. So this is for your first renewal for your broker license, 60 hours, it's 2 courses. And again, just like your sales associate information and your post-licensing sales associate is going to be real-world information such as business planning, presenting offers, things that you need to know now that you obtain the license. With your broker post licensing, you do the laws and rules again, you do that whole song and dance for the broker license, but once you get the broker license, now your post licensing, 2 courses it is that we offer for this. It's 2 30-hour courses. The first one is going to be called Brokerage Management. And usually I'd recommend doing this one first because this is going to be the most beneficial for anyone trying to start a brokerage. So if your goal about getting your broker license is that maybe not today, but maybe someday you do want to start your own brokerage, that's where that brokerage management course is going to go beyond what the laws and rules are in your pre-licensing for your broker license, and now actually dig into the details of how do you build an effective, functioning real estate brokerage. And the second course, it's going to be on financial investment analysis. So a little bit dealing with finances and mortgage and loan type of stuff, very little bit on that. A big deep dive though into the statistics on investment analyzation of properties, of understanding different cash flows and quick ratios, and basically being able to run those numbers so that way you could be a more effective real estate professional with that broker post licensing course. And we've had people that don't even have a broker license that have taken that brokerage investment course just because they wanted to learn that investment aspect of it, because it's really great knowledge and information that is presented in there. Now again, this is a ton of information, a lot. You might be wondering, how do we keep it all in? Well, it's our jobs too. We teach these courses, and whenever it is we forget, we've got the books, because there's been plenty of times I've had to crack one of these things open and double check something. But if you do that enough times, this stuff starts to really stick in there, even though it is so much information. So, and it's not just me that has this information here. I am one person within the organization that is the Tampa School of Real Estate. We have an amazing team of instructors. We have an amazing team of advisors that you could actually reach out to right at 813-333-2676. And these advisors even have real estate licenses, as well as instructor licenses, as well as even broker licenses for some of them there. So call into us, text into us, any questions you have, whatever point you're at in the process, whether you're just looking into this and you're like, wow, this is really cool, I do want to be able to get my broker license someday, but I guess I've got to get my sales associate license first. Where do I start? Maybe I have another question about this. What about it? What does it look like in the meantime? Super knowledgeable people you can connect with, 813-333-2676. And if you get signed up for one of the classes, especially one of the instructor-led programs, I guarantee you're going to be thrilled with the experience it is that you're getting, with the information and knowledge it is that you're going to be obtaining. Like I said, your pre-licensing, you might be disappointed if you're going in there expecting to learn everything there is to know about real estate. It starts off with the laws and rules, but all of these subsequent courses that you're going through and taking, there's a recent review that just came in from one of our past students that got started. It was during our Black Friday promotions, and I guess she saw one of the ads, and she's like, yeah, I started back in Black Friday of 2019 is when I bought my course, and I've done all my courses with Tampa School of Real Estate since then, and now I'm closing 2 transactions a week. And that's 2 transactions a week in a market like we have now, where we've got 7% interest rates. So this can be done. Regardless of what's going on in the market, regardless of what's going on in your life, it can all be overcame, but you're not going to be able to do it alone. You're not going to be able to figure it out on your own. Legally, the Florida Real Estate Commission requires you to have the courses from a licensed and FREC approved real estate school. We check all of those boxes and a lot more. So reach out to us with any questions you have, 813-333-2676, or you could browse our catalog online at tsre.us. Just put that in your browser, tsre.us, and pop right over to the website. We'll be back again next Friday, 12 noon Eastern time, as we are every single Friday. So make sure you're tuned in. Make sure you're subscribed. Just pop in your email anywhere on the website, and you'll be able to get email notifications, whatever it is that we have new information to share with you to help you advance your real estate career. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope this information has been beneficial to you and your future. If there's anything we can help you with, again, that phone number is 813-333-2676. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you next week. The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida real estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the Question Simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam. Are you studying for your Florida real estate exam? If you are, you need to check out our Pass First Try strategy. You're gonna love this. It's 4 steps that we break down the process to study for your Florida real estate exam. So you're set up to pass your Florida real estate exam because that's what you're studying for, right? To pass your exam. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you learn the information. You've got to learn this to be able to pass the exam, but it doesn't stop at learning. Step 2, you've got to reinforce the basic, simple, key concepts. As you learn this information, keep reviewing the simple things. You don't need to know everything, but you got to review these basic key concepts. Step 3, you've got to test your knowledge. The exam's going to test your knowledge, so if you don't test your knowledge in advance, you won't find out if you know what you think you know until you take the exam. And then step 4 is be confident and prepared, because even if you know this material, you need to be confident that you know the material. Check out the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com. So you just got your real estate license. How can you jumpstart your real estate business? The number one thing you should do before you do anything else is post-licensing. Now look, this is already a requirement, so you're gonna have to do it anyways, but here's why you wanna do it early. The sooner you do post-licensing, the sooner you're gonna learn the real-world concepts in post-licensing that will help you create a business plan, that'll help you plan for your success in real estate. Post-licensing is all about real-world topics that are usable, that'll help you grow your real estate business. And at Tampa School of Real Estate, we have the best post-licensing courses around. Find out more about how post-licensing can help you jumpstart your real estate career. Go to postflorida.com.
Have you seen what's going on in Tampa?
If you're looking to get in on the real estate action that's going on in Tampa right now, we're who you need to talk to. We can help you get your real estate license, start your real estate career. We're here to assist you for the life of your real estate career. Give us a call. Phone number is 813-928-0106, or check us out online at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.